All right, welcome back to Brick Lounge on the Road. I am Eric. I'm here with Patrick at Atlanta Brick Con. Patrick has one of my favorite MOCs. I've seen at multiple shows online, but this is my first opportunity to see it in person, along with a killer Barrador right here that is bigger than many other things in the current convention center.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, tell us a little bit about start right here with your film build.
All right. So this is the Pieces of Cinema. It's a 5-year running project that I've been doing of iconic movie scenes from the past 90 years of cinema history. It starts all the way back in 1931 with the original Frankenstein, and the most recent one I've got is Barbie / Oppenheimer from 2023. So if you want, we can go through each one. I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah,
and,
we'll go down the line.
All right. So right here, like I said, we've got Frankenstein, all made in gray bricks to emulate that black and white feel that the movie has. Next to it is King Kong from 1933. This uses one of those old 9-volt battery Lego pieces that they made in the 80s and 90s to allow the planes to rotate.
That's hidden in there beautifully. Like, it just looks like another building. That's wonderful.
Yeah. The wire is actually hidden, which is also a Lego piece right there in the back.
Very nice.
So
very nice.
Fits together pretty well. Next is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 37. The roof can come off here and you can see the inside a little bit better. It has a minor play feature where there's a gear in the back. Let me see if I can reach it. Move him out of the way. It's a gear in the back that lets the Snow White and the dwarves dance around like they do in the movie.
I like how you have them positioned on top of each other as well.
Yeah. That's just done with one of those neck bracket pieces for the minifigures.
Perfect.
Next is Snow White, or sorry, that was Snow White. This is the Wizard of Oz. That one was pretty easy since Lego did a fantastic job with those figures. Next is Citizen Kane. Many people say this is the greatest movie of all time.
As any film buff, it is a must-watch.
Yep. This is actually the very last build that I made for the series.
Oh, really?
And to commemorate it, the 50th build, I made myself a little trophy that's hidden in the back here. Next is Casablanca, one of my favorite movies ever. This is the last scene in the movie where he says goodbye, and
that's the "here's looking at you, kid."
Yeah. We'll always have Paris. Next is Godzilla from 54, I think. Pretty simple build, but it looks pretty cool. Then there's the Ten Commandments with Charleston Heston.
Very nice.
Parting the Red Sea.
I like your waterwork. Is that all just 1x1 studs?
Yeah,
or?
1x1 studs on top of each other. Yep.
Perfect. They have that, as those studs, as you stack them up high enough, they start to tilt a little bit. So
Yeah,
that
it makes a nice little effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And next is another classic Charleston Heston movie is Ben-Hur, driving his 4-horse chariot. Then we've got Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Classic Psycho.
Classic movie. Also in the black and white and gray pieces to make it look older. This is kind of a representation of the entire James Bond franchise. Specifically, this one is from Goldfinger.
Gotcha.
It's the third Sean Connery Bond movie. And that's his Aston Martin.
As a big James Bond fan myself, that Aston Martin is nice. I love the scale that you've got for it.
Thank you.
On that plate perfect.
Thank you. And actually, this build predates the Lego set Aston Martin.
Yeah.
So
which makes it all that more impressive.
Yeah. This here is Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original one from the 60s. One of my favorite Christmas movies, and I think it's a pretty cool piece of short film cinema history.
Now, I'm a bit of a Marvel guy, too. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a Green Goblin head
you've
done for the Grinch?
Yeah, that's a guy. That's the Green Goblin from a Junior's Marvel set.
Very good. Very nice. Very nice.
Works perfectly because it's lime green. It's got the yellow eyes and the sinister expression. So
very solid Grinch.
This is another one of my favorite movies ever made, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This is the standoff at the end of the movie between Blondie and Tuco. I forget. Is it Silver Eyes?
Yes, I believe so. I believe you're correct.
There we go. Excellent scene, excellent movie.
Very nice. I love your greebling and everything. With the,
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
So next in the timeline's all the way back over here. This is 2001: A Space Odyssey, the opening scene, Dawn of Man, where the mysterious obelisk appears on the planet of monkeys. Or apes, I don't know. I think they're apes. This is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Gene Wilder's version.
One of my personal favorite films.
Yeah, it's really magical. And I really love the scene where all the kids walk in and see everything that's edible in the room. So that's what I recreated here.
Any plans? I know there's the idea set was approved. Any plans to update it with those new parts?
Probably just the minifigure. That's what I've been doing. Like with Snow White, for example, I had just a custom Snow White on there until Lego made one, and then just swapped it out. Perfect. So I'll probably update it whenever that comes out. This is Monty Python and the Holy Grail, iconic moment where he chops the arms off of the Black Knight, and
it is but a flesh wound.
Yeah, just a flesh wound. Yeah. I really like the little coconut pieces I've got here for the squire.
That is wonderful.
No pigeons though. Next is Jaws. This one is one I haven't updated yet with the new figure. But I think it's pretty cool. It's just sinking into the water and Jaws is attacking it.
The simplicity of the boat is great. It's simple, but you still can immediately identify what it is, but it does not rob the scene of what it's meant to be, which is the shark versus Brody.
Yeah, thanks.
So that's well done.
And making it half sunken was a really fun challenge because I had to just basically cut an angle into it.
Yeah.
With using the pieces I had.
Noting on that, while we're here, you know, all of you have the same dimensions, the same plate size for all of these models. So you created that standard. How is it adapting to that standard with certain scenes?
Well, as you can see with some we've seen before and some we'll see later, some expand past their boundary, but all of them start from a 16 by 16 base with a black border around it.
Okay.
I think that provides a lot of uniformity to the series. All of them look like they go together.
Wonderful.
So that's pretty cool. This one is Superman from '78. Another one with a 9-volt battery, spinning motor. And the globe uses the famous Lowell sphere technique.
Wonderful. I like your dots down at the bottom to kind of indicate the space.
Yeah, yeah. I might try and replace those with those CMF tiles.
That's a wonderful
that came out last year.
That's a wonderful piece.
I don't know if I have enough, but that would make it look better, I think. This is the Muppet movie, 1979. This one has one of my favorite details in the display because behind this log here is Jim Henson puppeteering Kermit the Frog.
Very nice.
Yeah. So this build wasn't originally on the list of movies I wanted to include, but after Lego created this CMF series of the Muppets, and after watching the movie for myself, I knew it deserved a spot.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And we move on to a scene that everyone knows.
Yep. This is actually the second one that I assembled for this whole series. So I was still kind of figuring out how much space I wanted to take up. As you can see, this one expands past the border a little bit. This is arguably the most iconic scene in all of cinema history, so it had to be on here.
Yes, I agree with that.
I didn't even say what it was, but it needs
Everyone knows it needs no introduction.
This one here is The Shining from 1980. There's actually a portion of it that you can't see with the room that Jack starts in, and you can position him with the axe chopping through the door there.
Very nice.
So there's two different ways to display it, but I found that this is the one most people recognize.
Yeah, that would be the iconic moment, and
yeah.
Just sharing that additional detail.
That's right. Here, I can move some of these if you want to get a better shot. Here you go.
Very nice, very nice. And now we're on to one of my personal favorite movies as well. I'm a diehard Indiana Jones fan.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, that's what this is.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. This is also a contender for one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, the opening to Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is one I considered updating the figure for, but I have a lot of nostalgia for the 2008 version of Indiana Jones, so I left that one.
That is a very iconic figure in of itself. The new one is great, but
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
new
people
one's
grew up
excellent.
with that
I love
classic style.
the dual molded hair and hat combo.
Yeah.
But you just can't beat the classic.
You can't. And I love the detail inclusion of, I believe that's a CMF in the corner of the mask
the tiki
piece.
mask.
The tiki mask.
Just thought it looked like it fit right there.
It does. Yeah, it definitely fits with that kind of Aztec or that style.
Yep. Next is E.T. So Lego actually did make an E.T. minifigure way back in the Dimensions days. He came in a fun pack, and that was the only way you could get him. So it was perfect, and everybody knows E.T., so fits right in.
This is a good example of what I love about your builds with this. You know, you've got a build that's taking place in the sky, and everything is centered in that point, but you've scaled everything so appropriately down below that you get the detail, but it still feels like it's so much higher
than
the rest of the build, even though it's just above the forced perspective. Yes.
Yeah, it's a tricky technique, but when it works really well.
You execute it well, sir.
This one is probably the tallest, definitely in the most parts, is the Ghostbusters from 1984. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man attacking. Really iconic moment in the movie.
That is classic, very classic.
Yep. And these little particle effects parts that they made for superheroes work perfectly for the proton beams.
Absolutely, yeah. The color alone is perfect. The spiral effect, it works well. And I love the build for your proton packs as well.
I think those are the official ones
nice.
From the set. I figured if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There you go.
And speaking of from the set, next is Back to the Future. This is the remains of a original Cuso DeLorean. I just took the front half off to make it look like it's halfway through traveling through time.
Very good.
And the license plate is there to make it look like it's spinning on the ground, and the flames in the parking lot.
Yeah, this is a fun one that, you know, you have motion in some of your other builds. This one has no inherent motion, but the way you designed everything with the fire trail, the spinning plate, it leaves enough up to the imagination that it works very, very well.
Yeah, thanks. Next is Aliens. So picking an Alien movie representation was a big toss-up between the first one and the second one. I love them both a lot. I think the second one I prefer just because it's more action oriented. This final battle between this power loader mech and the alien queen is super fun and super exciting. The mech itself was a fun challenge to recreate.
Particularly at that scale. That's a good scale for that.
Yeah, and as you can see, none of her limbs are actually attached to her body, because in the movie she uses her actual arm to move the power loader arm. So there had to be a little disconnect to position her correctly.
That is very unique, but you know, with the way everything's angled, you cannot see that unless you get into into it.
Yep.
And it makes it for a very cool effect. Very nice. Very nice.
All right, so back to the other side. So this here's another classic James Cameron movie is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Just like with Aliens, I love the first two Terminators, but I think I'll give the slight edge to this one. The twist of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator being the hero in this movie is excellent.
Yep.
And really well built up during the movie.
Your use of the plant piece for the shotgun blast, I think that's a very inspired choice.
Yeah, I pulled that from the, what's it called? It was a Lego Batman movie Joker Manor set, and they used it as a bomb fuse.
Oh, very cool.
And I thought it looked really good as a little sparking effect, and reused it here.
Absolutely. One other detail I'm seeing that I've seen in some of the other ones that didn't mention, is your custom printed tiles.
Yeah.
Is that a mission of yours to try and collect the tile for each of your
Yes,
works?
these came from Eclipse Graphics, and I bought all the ones that they had that I had built stuff for. And so every year I come back and check and see if they have any more.
Very nice, very nice.
Next up is The Silence of the Lambs. Probably one of the most critically acclaimed horror movies of all time. This is the scene of Hannibal Lecter getting interviewed about another case of Buffalo Bill. So I tried to make his cell as accurate as I could. In the movie, there's a lot of like posters and drawings stuck to the wall. He's got his little bed and his little shirt rack. Really claustrophobic, but
it is very well
helps
executed.
add to the uneasiness of the scene.
Everything being open up top so that you can witness the details, but also having Corey's face away from the eye. It kind of brings you into the scene nicely. It's
Thank you.
very similar to the shot in the movie.
Thank you. This next one is Jurassic Park. This build is probably about 5 years old now.
One of your earlier ones?
Yes. So old that the sticker for a Jurassic Park logo didn't exist yet, so I had to make my own. With the display I have, the tail won't fit on the dinosaur, so we're just going to pretend that it's there. Just a fun little T-Rex escape scene, and Lego has since made a large diorama of this exact scene, so I think that speaks to how iconic the moment is in the movie.
You nailed all of the details in one small scene, and just having such a large figure with the Tyrannosaurus, as you said, the tail doesn't fit, but you can't even really tell.
Right.
You know, your focus is on the scene as a whole, so very well done.
Thank you. Next is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Another one that wasn't originally on the list, but I came up with this really cool design to make a large, lanky Jack Skellington, and felt like I should do it. It's a cool claymation movie, probably the most famous claymation movie. A really cool aesthetic as well.
It is.
So,
yeah, they've since done that Lego set more recently, but I'll be honest with you, the brick-built figures, taking something out of animation and making it brick-built, that takes a lot of skill to kind of look at it, look at the proportions and how you do that. You've done very well job with it.
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't been able to pick up that set yet. It is really good, but maybe I will eventually. Next is Pulp Fiction. This one has a lot of fun little details. Forget their names. John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. Here's the briefcase that they're after. That's kind of the MacGuffin of the movie. Nothing inside, just like in the actual movie. So yeah, pretty cool scene. Next is The Lion King. This is kind of the representation of the Disney Renaissance that occurred in the 90s. I think The Lion King is Disney's best movie. This is the opening to that movie.
It is certainly one of the most iconic of the animation. Being somebody who also grew up during that time frame, that is a build that does mean a lot to me. So very well done. I love your rock work that you had there. You really mimic the Pride Rock very well in such a small scale.
And this is another one that has to implement forced perspective, just because in the movie the Pride Rock is so high up off the ground.
Your tree builds down here with your 2x2 round bricks are very well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Very nice, very nice. And this next one here, this is a fun one. I love the crowd that you have in here.
I was just talking to your brother before. You bought the full set for those things there. I'm not asking to buy it or anything. I just want to know how much was the red one?
I got it for $20.
$20. Okay, cool. That's great.
Sorry about that.
You're good. No worries.
Yeah, so this is Toy Story, Pixar's first animated movie. The scene I selected was the claw in Pizza Planet. I just built the little rocket and stuffed as many as the little aliens in there as I could.
Let's see, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus a Buzz and Woody.
Yep.
That is a lot of figs for a 16 by 16 plate, much less probably what?
I think this area is 8 by 8. Yeah. Yep.
So a lot of, nice and crowded in there, just like the scene. Very nice.
Next one is another one kind of sponsored by Lego Dimensions, is Mission Impossible, because Lego Dimensions made this figure of Ethan Hunt from the first movie. This is the suspenseful scene of him breaking into the CIA to pull some data from this giant computer. And he can't touch the floor because if he does, the alarm will go off. So he has to dangle above the ground.
And your nice little detail of the rat from the scene.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Leading to one of the most suspenseful moments in cinema of him dropping down to the floor, really touching.
Yep.
Very nice, very nice. And I believe we've all been on a ship and done this at one point in our life. If you've ever been on a boat,
everybody does it. King of the World, Titanic. Really small piece of the whole Titanic ship, but the main focus is really just the figures of Jack and Rose.
Beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah. This one is the Matrix, the bullet time moment. I think these studs stacked together make an excellent rippling effect like they have in the movie. And in the movie, it's known for their camera work, specifically spinning around the action. So this one can spin as well.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
Next is Shrek. Shrek is included because it is the first movie that won Best Animated Picture at the Oscars. This is the Shrek's introduction in the scene where he bursts out of the outhouse.
I can't help but to see this and start humming All Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, it became a good bit of a meme. Another reason why it's here. It's the meme status kind of speaks to how iconic it is.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice.
Next is Lord of the Rings. Choosing a Lord of the Rings scene was very difficult because I think all three movies are masterpieces. But this one is probably the most quoted moment in the entire trilogy, the You Shall Not Pass.
Yep.
Plus, it makes for a really fun build.
The work you did with your with the flame whip using the translucent pieces is wonderful.
Yeah, it all just uses the one piece of the 1x2 transclear
Yeah, everything
plate.
is angled down. And so there's amazing what you can do with 1x2 bricks or plates and Lego. You know, you can create curves, all sorts of stuff, and you're putting that on display right now. So very wonderful.
Do a lot with a little.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so one more time, we got to go back to the beginning. We are at Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl now. This is Jack Sparrow's introduction where he is approaching the dock, and as the camera zooms out, you see his ship is sinking. A great introduction to the character. Really funny moment.
Very nice. Very nice.
This one is Spider-Man 2, one of the best superhero movies of all time, in my opinion. Spider-Man stopping the runaway subway train.
Very iconic moment.
Next is another one of the great superhero movies. It's The Dark Knight. Interrogation scene with Batman and Joker talking to each other. I've got the classic 2008 Batman figure on there.
Very nice. It's such a simple scene, but like I said, that you really do have a skill of taking a camera shot, a shot from a camera, and mimicking it in Lego. Like it's simple, but you give that level of depth. I really appreciate it.
It makes for a fun challenge too, restricting myself to this 16 by 16 space and seeing what all I can fit in there.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Next is Harry Potter: The Deathly Hallows Part 2. The final battle between Harry Potter and Voldemort on a destroyed Hogwarts.
That's awesome.
Typically, Lego does tan and sand green for Hogwarts, but looking at pictures from the movie, everything looks gray and dirty and dusty, so I went with light gray for this one.
Also, the scene, if I recall, is in a much more ruined environment, and having gray involved in that kind of adds to that effect. One of the things I love too is your effects that you did here for the blast going against each other. You know, of course, there exist energy pieces, maybe not at the time that this was built, but the way you've done with using all translucent actual bricks and rounds and everything, it's added a different style to it.
Yeah, thanks.
Which I like.
And yeah, you are right. They did make wand energy blast pieces a few years ago. But I like the brick build effects.
I'll be honest with you, I totally agree. I'm always one, if you can brick build it, it adds a different level of complexity.
That's right.
So, well done.
So this one, a lot of people don't recognize this one, but this is actually Logan from 2017. It's hands down the best X-Men movie and one of the best superhero movies of all time. This scene represents his death at the end. Spoiler alert. But very emotional moment with him and his surrogate daughter.
It is. So I don't want to shy away here. You definitely have up front and center that key moment of the scene, but just building that environment around it with your bushes and your trees coming up over it, it kind of encapsulates that moment. So very well. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Just a nice little backdrop to help
Correct.
the scene come to life. This is Wonder Woman, also from 2017. So this build is included for just a couple of reasons. It was kind of the first super successful female-led and directed superhero movie, which is super cool. Also, with having Wonder Woman, I have a movie from each of the three DC Trinity. So Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Very
all
nice,
included in this series, which I think is cool.
That is cool. Very nice. Yeah, this scene was one of the most hype moments when it came out.
Yeah.
It was,
Yep.
you cannot be excited when this scene pops up.
Mm-hmm. This one is Blade Runner 2049, a legacy sequel to Blade Runner. This is the scene where Officer K interacts with this holographic advertisement of the AI Joy. He has a romantic relationship with his AI Joy, and then she gets destroyed or killed somehow, and he sees this right before he goes to the final battle.
That's awesome. I'm a big Blade Runner fan, and the thing you did here with color and scale, using a microfib to show that scale with that large holographic image. And how many translucent bricks do you have in there?
I'm not sure how many, but I did have to make a special order for them.
That is incredible. That is very, very
And it
cool.
just uses a little LED light with a little battery box behind it to illuminate the whole thing.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
This next one is Avengers Infinity War. At the time that I built this, Endgame had not come out yet. If it did, I probably would have picked that one to represent the MCU. But in any case, I think this is still a good moment of Thor finally trying to get revenge on Thanos, but he ends up failing and Thanos snaps away half of the population.
The face-off between two intergalactic titans.
That's right. So this next one is the oldest one in the series. This is what started it all, is the Joker. And it didn't start as me trying to represent an iconic moment in cinema history. It started as me trying to recreate a meme. Because back in 2019, the Joker stairs was a big meme.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's what.
So this was the very first one. That is awesome. That is incredible.
And from there, all the rest of it started.
Absolutely incredible.
So next is the Batman. I know it's a little bit redundant to have two Batman movies included, but after seeing this one, it completely blew me away. It was just expertly made and one of my favorite movies of all time now. This is near the beginning of the movie where Batman saves this passenger from a couple of thugs.
I remember that scene. He literally emerges from the darkness of that scene.
Yep.
Now, these translucent, is that mimicking the rain?
Yes. Yes.
That's a really, really unique technique for that.
Thanks. This is a technique that I saw on a build by a guy named Zeno Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Made an excellent Hobbit build using this rain technique. And I thought it would be perfect for this build.
It does play.
Since Gotham is always rainy and dark and stormy. So
That's wonderful. That plays very nice.
There's also a little light brick in there. You probably can't see it with how bright it is.
Yes,
but,
indeed. Yep.
And that battery is probably low too.
but it helps add to the atmosphere.
Wonderful. And we're coming down to the tail end here with some more recent ones that I recognize.
Yes, this one here is Top Gun Maverick. This one is probably the one I spent the most time on, perfecting the way that this jet looks and how it works as well. The wings can fold out just like the actual jet.
That is wonderful.
And the flaps can go up and down. Cockpit opens and closes. So
this is unique. I mean, of course, it stretches well beyond that 16 by 16 scale, but this isn't the kind of thing that you can cut in half.
Exactly.
And get the same
and not
effect.
what I wanted to size down either, because
Yes.
in the movie everything is like real.
Yeah.
And that's part of what made it so successful.
I still love. I mean, of course, it's no secret Lego doesn't do military. But where did you get the? How did you plan this specific build? The wing functionality, you know.
Well,
the flaps,
essentially what I did was
at this scale in
I looked
particular.
up pictures of the plane that they used in the movie and just tried to recreate it.
Very nice.
And this is just the result.
Very, very nice. All right, and take us home with a very, very pink build we have here.
Yeah, pink on this side. This is Barbie from 2023. But if you remember anything from the Barbie summer, was that there was another movie that came out on the same day that was equally as popular. And that was Oppenheimer.
That is wonderful.
The cinematic event known as Barbenheimer. It was a probably the biggest cinematic event since, like, I don't know, Star Wars in 2015 when it came
incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So I had to include it. It's cemented itself in cinema history, especially after award season when both films walked away with several trophies.
Now your figures, are those custom figs? Or?
Yeah, basically all the figures included here are custom made using parts from official Lego figures.
Perfect.
So there's Barbie and Ken, and this side you've got Oppenheimer.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
So that is all 50 pieces of cinema.
Well, Patrick, any plans to add anything new? I mean, you got a lot right here, but there's always new movies every year.
Right, and there's always classic movies that I haven't included. I am working on a bit of a list to make it to 100, but that may be a long time coming.
Yeah.
I have other Lego projects I'd like to work on, and 50 feels like a pretty solid place to stop.
That's good, and it constantly displays so well.
Yeah,
so.
thanks.
So I will say, as a big film buff, this display means a lot to me. All of these movies are a touchstone for me in one way, shape, or form. And as a Lego builder myself, 16 by 16, they laugh at me, I consider my sweet spot. I like to build small, I like to build detailed. So your builds have always been very inspiring to me, and having the opportunity to speak with you and hear it firsthand on some of your techniques really does mean a lot.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
So with that said, of course, this is the Brick Lounge podcast. We're here at Atlanta BrickCon, and we have each tasked each other with selecting a few awards for this event.
Oh, yeah?
You were one of my personal selections.
Oh, wow.
So I would like to present you with our Brick Lounge
Wow, look at that.
little token for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Patrick. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll be sure to listen in.
Absolutely.
Y'all on YouTube, Spotify?
Yep, all the major podcast
Awesome.
platforms. YouTube will be up and running here shortly. But is there anything you would like to share? Is there anything anywhere people can follow you and your work?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Instagram
Okay.
at awesome_mocs, MOCS.
Awesome_mocs.
And there it is right there.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yep. I post, my latest project is recreating Arkham Asylum in a very large scale. So
Nice.
I've been slowly posting updates to that.
That is wonderful. When you say very large scale, what are we talking?
Big, like really big. It's going to be 3 islands, and the first one by itself is probably 6 by 6 foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
I'm excited for it.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for your time again,
Yeah,
man.
thank you
I
guys.
appreciate it.